Wait, Trump, we want war? Wait, what?
So, ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming
What the
45th and 47th President of the United States.
Wait, this just dropped. This just dropped like right now. 1 hour.
Our Commander-in-Chief, Donald J. Trump.
What?
Thank you very much, Pete. A great job you're doing, too. Fantastic
Do
job.
they really gotta have the
I've
buzzing?
never walked into a room so
Really?
silent before. This is very... Don't laugh. Don't laugh. You're not allowed to do that.
Really?
You know what? Just have a good time. And if you want to applaud, you applaud.
Come on,
And if
Fox.
you want to do anything you want, you can do anything you want. And if you don't like what I'm saying, you can leave the room. Of course, there goes your rank. There goes your future.
Wait. Wait, hold up. He opened with that? I was too distracted by the buzzing.
Don't laugh. Don't laugh. You're not allowed to do that. You know what? Just have a good time. And if you want to applaud, you applaud. And if you want to do anything you want, you can do anything you want. And if you don't like what I'm saying, you can leave the room. Of course, there goes your rank. There goes your future. But you...
Can you imagine there's probably some of them in the crowd like, ha, 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 ha.
Just feel nice and loose, okay? Because we're all on the same team. And I was
like
told that,
loser,
so
their rank.
You won't hear a murmur in the room. I said, we got to loosen these guys up a little bit. So you just have a good time. But I want to thank Secretary Hegseth and General Kane, General Raisin Kane for a reason, they call him that. When I heard his name, I said, you're the guy I'm looking for. The Joint Chiefs of Staff and so many others in this room who together represent the greatest and most elite fighting force in the history of the world, the United States military. We're very proud of our military. I rebuilt the military during my first term. It's one of the greatest achievements. We had the greatest economy in history, and I built the military. Those are the two things I say more than anything else. And I also kept us safe at the borders. We had very good borders. We didn't have people coming in from jails and prisons and everything like took place over the last 4 years. They'll never forget what happened to this country over the last 4 years with the incompetence. There could be no higher honor than to serve as your commander-in-chief. It is a great honor. I look at you, you're just incredible people.
So apparently this is a really controversial
Central
speech.
casting, I might add. To each and every one of you, I thank you for your unwavering devotion to the armed forces and to the country that we've all sworn a sacred oath to defend. We all have that oath, every one of us. I'm thrilled to be here this morning to address the senior leadership of what is once again known around the world as the Department of War. I know Pete spoke about it. He gave a great speech, I thought. Great speech. I don't want him to get so good. I hate that. You know? No, I hate it. I almost fired him.
New Jersey active shooter has been
I don't want to
lifted.
go on after that.
Did they find out what happened with the shooter? I'm sure we'll find out later.
No, he gave a great speech, but he talked about Department of War. We were sitting there. I said, didn't it used to be called the Department of War? And he goes, yes, sir. They changed it like in the early 50s. So we won the First World War. We won the Second World War. We won everything in between and everything before that. We only won. And then we went, in a way, woke. That was probably the first sign of wokeness. And we changed it to defense instead of war. And I said, what do you think? How do you think if we changed it back? Would that be a nice idea? And Pete loved it immediately. Some people thought about it. You know, they gave it a little thought. But in the end, we did it. And I have to be honest, it's so popular. I thought it would be met with fury on the left, but they're sort of giving up, I must be honest with you. They've had it. They've had it with Trump. They've been after me for so many years now. Here we are. Here we are. Come to the White House anytime you'd like. No, they've given up. They're bad, a lot of bad people. But all over, that's been so popular. It's been very popular. I really thought that we were going to have to sort of fight it through.
Dude.
There's been no...
I'm not gonna lie, guys. I'm gonna miss this guy so much when he's out. He's just so funny. He's just so funny. And it's like the shit that he says is like, man, I love it. Like, it's so troll, you know? Like,
There's been no fight. Like what I called the Gulf of America, because to me it was always the Gulf of America. I could never understand. We have 92% of the frontage, and for years, actually 350 years, they were there before us. It was called the Gulf of Mexico. I just had this idea. I'm looking at a map. I'm saying, we have most of the frontage. Why is it Gulf of Mexico? Why isn't it the Gulf of America? And I made the change, and it went smoothly. I mean, we had a couple of fake news outlets that refused to make the change, and then
I didn't actually think they would do it, to be honest. Like, I thought it was a meme, and then it actually happened.
One of them, AP, took us to court, and we won. And the judge, who was a somewhat liberal judge, said the name is the Gulf of America.
That's a good point. Mexico is in America. So it's fair because the name covers both of us, right? Whereas like the Gulf of Mexico is like, yo, that's just you guys. But the Gulf of America is both of us. It's fair. It makes sense. Yeah, it makes total sense. Yo, Adrian, thank you so much. Thank you, Adrian. Thank you for 10 gift subs. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
America, because AP refused to call it the Gulf of America. They wrote, they're not a good outfit, by the way. They call it the Gulf of Mexico. I said, no, the Gulf of America is the name. And the judge actually said that, in fact, you can't even go into the room because what you're doing is not appropriate. The name is the Gulf of America. Google Maps changed the name. Everybody did, but AP wouldn't. And then we won in court. How about that? Isn't that so cool? The Secretary Hegseth beautifully described the name change reflects far more than the shift in branding. It's really a historic reassertion of our purpose and our identity and our pride. That's when we go with the word war. And, you know, we want war because we want to have no wars.
Wait. Is it okay? This is the thing.
And, you know, historic.
Wait, really? Is this the thing that everyone was saying? Trump says he wants war. Is this really it? That's it?
Reassertion of our purpose and our identity and our pride. That's when we go with the word war. And, you know, we want war because we want to have no wars, but you have to be there. And, you know, sometimes you have to do it. I have settled so many wars since we're here. We're here almost 9 months, and I've settled 7. And yesterday we might have settled the biggest of them all, although I don't know. Pakistan, India was very big. Both nuclear powers, I settled that. But yesterday could be the settlement in the Middle East that hasn't happened for 3,000 years. I said, how long have we been fighting 3,000 years?
If we want to have... If we want to have no war, he wants war. Oh yeah, where did that come from? He says it's because he said we want war, but then he said it and then he basically described what he was talking about, right? He basically explained like what he meant by that, like literally right after. And the thing is like it's actually true, and this is what I was talking about with the person last night. The person last night who was talking about like military spending. You remember how I said military spending is important? That's why. It's not because I want war. It's because I want peace. It's because if you have how do I explain it? It's kind of like if you play a game like let's say like an extraction shooter, right? And you are like a scav or like a rat, right? And you're like ratting it up. You're like a nice big fat backpack. You've got all this random shit in it. And you roll up on like four dudes and like completely fucking kitted out. The highest tier armor, you know, fucking scars. Like they're super kitted out. You know, the freaking PUBG helmet and everything. Like you don't even want to fuck with those guys. You're just like, you know what? I'm just gonna hide here. I'm literally just gonna hide here in this building. And I'm just gonna let them go because I don't want to fuck with that, right? And it's basically the same thing where you want to have the best technology. You want to have the best soldiers. You want to have the best guns, the best boats, best airplanes, best spying technology, satellites, whatever the fuck. Moon base, whatever you want to call it, Death Star. You want to have the biggest dick in the world so that when someone tries to fuck with you, you're like, do you really want to do this? Like, you serious? And then like nobody wants to fuck with you because of that. Yeah. Exactly.
We got it, I think, settled. We'll see. Hamas has to agree. And if they don't, it's going to be very tough on them. But it is what it is. But all of the Arab nations, Muslim nations have agreed. Israel has agreed. It's an amazing thing.
And the thing is, sorry, I know I'm pausing again, but beyond that, this is even like beyond like just America, right? If like you care about, like, say you care about like peace in other countries, you should also want to have the most power, because then you have the most leverage for peace if you have more power, right? Like the fact that like we have such a big military, we can like basically fuck up anybody, means that if we tell somebody, hey, fucking knock that off, they kind of have to consider it. You mean rather than just being like, oh yeah, shut the fuck up, like whatever, we can do about it, right? We can literally do something about it. So if somebody like acts up really hard, we could, if we wanted to, we could glass them. Or I'm just saying we could if we wanted, right? I'm not saying that we want to do that, but I'm saying like you could threaten it.
Together. War is very strange, you know. You never know what's going to happen with war. And it didn't happen for 4 years. But I knew Putin very well, and I thought that would be easy because I know him so well. Well,
thanks. That's thanks for the follow, Tim. Thank you.
Of them all. We had some that were not settlable, and they all got settled. So if this works out, that we did yesterday with the Middle East, that's more than a war. That's lots of wars. That's all combined. That's a lot of wars. Many of you were over there in many different capacities in many different countries. That's a big part of the earth. But if that works out, it would be 8+. How can I give myself 2 or 3 for that one? And then we just have that's a big part of the earth. But if that works out, it would be 8+. How can I give myself 2 or 3 for that one? And then we just have the one to settle. We have to settle it up with President Putin and Zelensky. Got to get them together and get it done. But the only way we can do that is through strength. I mean, if we were weak, they wouldn't even take my phone call. But we have extreme strength. We had the horror show in Afghanistan, which is really the reason I think that Putin went in.
Really bad.
That horror show by
the Afghanistan thing was really bad.
Incompetent people.
I thought that was unreal. I couldn't believe it. Like when the Afghanistan thing happened, I was shocked. I was like, really? I couldn't believe that happened. We just left all that shit there, and unreal.
I think it gave him a path in. I wasn't there any longer. I watched that, and it was so horrible. I think it was the most embarrassing day in the history of our country. And now we're back, and that's it. We're not going to have any of that crap happen, I can tell you. That was terrible, so terrible. Together we're reawakening the warrior spirit, and this is a spirit that won and built this nation, and from the cavalry that tamed the Great Plains to the ferocious, unyielding power of Patton Bradley and the great
I know, dude. They should have given that gear to us.
General Douglas MacArthur. These are all great men in this effort. We're a team, and so...
That being said, I kind of agree with what the person said earlier about, like, wasting money. I feel like we do waste a lot of money. I don't know what you do about that. The government always wastes money. Maybe hold them accountable, really. It's got to hold people accountable.
My message to you is very simple. I am with you. I support you. And as president, I have your backs 100%. You'll never see me even waver a little bit. It's the way it is. And that includes our great police officers and firemen and all of these people that are doing so well. Together over the next few years, we're going to make our military stronger, tougher, faster, fiercer, and more powerful than it has ever been before. I rebuilt our nuclear, as you probably know, but we'll upgrade that also and just hope we never have to use it. We have to hope we never have to use it because the power of that is so incredible. I see things I don't think they'd show it to you. I really wouldn't want them to show it to you. But when you see the result of what's left, you never want to use that. Never. Never, ever.
Yo, do we have like a freaking space laser or some shit? We got those UAPs?
We were
yeah, man.
A little bit threatened by Russia recently, and I sent a submarine, nuclear submarine, the most lethal weapon ever made. Number one, you can't detect it. There's no way. We're 25 years ahead of Russia and China in submarines. Russia's actually second in submarines. China's third, but they're coming up. They're coming up. They're way lower in nuclear too, but in 5 years they'll be equal. They're coming up. And you don't have to be that good with nuclear. You could have 1/20th what you have now and still do the damage that would be, that'd be so horrendous. But I announced that, based on his mention of nuclear, and it was really a stupid person that works for him mentioned the word nuclear. I moved a submarine or two, I won't say about the two, over to the coast of Russia, just to be careful, because we can't let people throw around that word. I call it the N-word. There are two.
He's still literally talking about dropping N-bombs. Like, actually.
Careful. We can't let people throw around that word. I call it the N-word. There are two N-words, and you can't use either of them.
What am I gonna do? He's termed out. Chat, he's termed out. What are we gonna do? Like, this is never gonna happen again in our life? Are you Oh man, this is like, you know when like they you know when you get all those people posting like, yes, this eclipse is only gonna happen here this one time in the next 400 years, right? And like you're like, oh man, I better go see that eclipse. Are you telling me that the Trump, this is the eclipse? Is this like never gonna happen again? It's one of those moments. I know.
You can't use either of them. And frankly, if it does get to use, we have more than anybody else. We have better, we have newer. But it's
Do you think he calls it that, the N bomb button?
something we don't ever want to.
Quick, give me the N-word codes. I need the N-word codes right now.
Even have to think about. But when somebody mentions it, that submarine started immediately thereafter. And it's just lurking, but I'm sure we're not going to have to use it.
Oh, man, holy shit.
An amazing,
That's unreal.
it's undetectable, totally. Ours is, theirs are totally detectable. We can detect them easily.
The N-bomb. We have more. America, we have more N-words than anyone else. So many. You wouldn't believe it. So many N-words. Significantly more than China. It's beautiful. We have the best N-words in the whole world.
We go right to the spot. But we have genius apparatus that doesn't allow detection. It doesn't allow detection at all by anybody above water or below water. It's incredible. We're way ahead of everybody.
God,
And other things. As a result of the exciting renewal of the spirit of our armed forces, and that's what it is. It's really reaching that spirit, unprecedented heights. Over the past 8 months, new enlistments, I'm so...
Holy fuck, Scotty. Nobody makes N-words like we can. Oh god, my head hurts all up my face. My face is like the muscles in my face, they hurt. They're getting tired. Oh my god.
Proud of this. Have surged to record highs, the highest we've ever had. And we used to have
Bigger,
recruiting shortages.
faster.
If you remember,
Our N-words are bigger, they're faster, more beautiful.
about a year and a half ago, I was
You won't
at
believe
the
it.
beginning stage of a campaign, and things came out that you couldn't get people to join the armed forces. And by the way, the police also, fire department. I always put the fire department in because they're great. They're great. And I got 95% of their vote, too. That helps. When you get 95% of their vote, you always have to mention them. But they're great.
I gotta tell my friend. There's no way.
And they're brave. In our inner cities, which we're going to be talking about, because it's a big part of war now. It's a big part of war. But the firemen go up in ladders, and you have people shooting at them while they're up in ladders. I don't even know if anybody heard that. And I said, don't talk about it much, but I think you have to. Our firemen are incredible. They're up in one of these ladders that goes way up to the sky, rescuing people, and you have animals shooting at them. Shooting bullets at firemen that are way up in death territory. You fall off that ladder, it's over. It's over. They don't even have to inspect you when you hit the ground. And you have people shooting bullets at them in some of these inner cities. We're not going to let that happen. So I always mention the firemen because that's actually a big problem we have. And they are unbelievable. Like you, they're unbelievable people. For the first time on record in 2025, the Navy, Air Force, and Space Force all met or surpassed their recruiting goals 3 months early. That never happened before.
I gotta tweet this, man. Yo, Trump just threatened to drop the N bomb. This is incredible. Oh man. All this shit sucks, but at least we have Trump, man. Holy shit. Holy shit.
And the Army did even better. Congratulations, Army. They met everything. And these were the highest standards because we're making it larger. So these were much higher standards than you had 4 years ago, 3 years ago during the sleepy Joe Biden era. And the Army did it 4 months early. And you remember a year and a half ago, they said the big stories that we're way behind with the Army, Air Force, the Navy, the Marines. We're way behind. Coast Guard. And even Space Force, I love Space Force because that was my career.
I don't trust a president that doesn't have a sense of humor.
You know, when you create something, I love it. And the people we put in there were good. I got that right. We put in great people initially, and we've really dominated. We really dominate in that sphere now. We're way behind China and Russia, and now we dominate. Space Force turned out to be a very important thing. I said from the beginning, you know, when Biden...
The responses on X, dude. I'm going to say the N-word. Miss Obama, get down. The greatest N-word. We will use it if we are threatened to. We build the best N-bombs, the greatest N-bombs, better than Russia and China.
Came into office, he wanted to terminate it. He said, and this thing called Space Force, so we could get rid of that. And he got hammered by the people in this room for even suggesting it, because it's very important, one of the most important. And as time goes by, it'll get more and more important. But we're now at 106% of our recruiting targets for the year, and that's the best in far more than a generation. And for the Marines, morale is so strong that the Marine Corps will meet its 2026 retention targets before the end of our...
Melchior says that we're going to dominate the N-word race. Oh my God, dude. I'm going to fucking piss myself, you guys.
October, which never happens, and that's the earliest it's ever happened in the history of our country. And it makes you feel good, you know. I felt guilty. I'd go make a speech in front of never people like you. You are the leaders, but people, soldiers. And I felt embarrassed because there'd be stories about, you know, we couldn't fill up our Army, Navy, Air Force. We couldn't fill them up. And it was headlines. It was during Biden's 4 years. The auto pen, I call him the auto pen. I want the A paper, not the D paper. We used to sign a piece of garbage. I said, this man's going to be a general, right? Yeah. I don't want to use this. I want to use the big, beautiful, firm paper. I want to use the real gold writing when you talk about the position, and they're beautiful. Uh-huh. And, but how would you like to have that where some kid sitting in the back office is having it signed with an auto pen? I thought about it, and I thought about you people first, admirals, generals. And I said, somebody works his whole life. He gets into maybe the academies or wherever, but however you got there, and you go through years of work, and now you become an admiral or a general or whatever. And when you do, the President of the United States signs your commission, as you know, and that commission is beautifully...
This just reminds me, like, you know the first round of Asari plushies and Leaflit plushies? Like, because this is the second run, right? But the original run of the plushies, for the pre-orders, we actually had signed postcards. Like, there was, like, postcards that were, like, signed by, like, me and my mom. And I told my mom, I was like, do you want to do another signing event? And she basically said, only if you... Like, if I'm not going to do that, I'm going to buy an auto pen.
Displayed.
This must be expensive, though, auto pen.
Actually, I love my signature.
It's an auto pen.
Everyone loves my signature. But I signed it very proudly, and I always think to myself, how can you have an auto pen sign this? It's just so disrespectful. To me, it's just totally disrespectful. And it turned out that almost everything he did was signed by auto pen, except for when he gave his son, Hunter, pardon. He signed that one. And that's actually the worst signature.
Yeah, of course he did.
That was the bad. The auto pen looks much better. But as leaders, our commitment to every patriot we put on the uniform is to ensure that American military remains. Dude,
does Donald Trump actually, like, hate Joe Biden like a fuck ton? Like, actually? Like, I don't know if he's serious. Does he actually hate him like that much?
The most lethal and dominant on the planet, not merely for a few years, but for the decades and generations to come, for centuries. We must be so strong that no nation will dare challenge us, so powerful that no enemy will dare threaten us, and so capable that no adversary can even think about beating us. And we've had it recently. I had India and Pakistan were going at it, and I called them both. And in this case, I used trade. I'm not going to trade with you. Used to two nuclear nations, big nuclear. And no, you cannot do that. I said, yes, I can. You go into this frickin' war that I'm hearing about. You know, actually, they just shot down 7 planes. 7 planes. It was starting. There was a lot of bad blood. And I said, you do this, there's not going to be any trade. And I stopped the war. It was raging for 4 days, but that was just the beginning. And we stopped it. It was a great thing. And the Prime Minister of Pakistan was here, along with the Field Marshal, who's a very important guy in Pakistan, and he was here 3 days ago. And I didn't even realize it as beautifully as he said it, but he said that to a group of people that were with us, 2 generals, but a group, he said, this man saved millions of lives because he saved the war from going on, and that war was going to get very bad. Very, very bad. President Trump saved millions and millions of lives. That was a bad war. And I was very honored. I loved the way he said it. Susie Wiles was there. She said that was the most beautiful thing. But we saved a lot of them. Saved a lot of them. Even in Africa, we saved.
Politicians don't hate. Blue Salmon says politicians on both sides don't hate each other as much as we are led to perceive. I don't know. He freaking put an auto pen instead of his fucking portrait. He replaced it with an auto pen. I can't see you doing that to somebody that you only joke hate. I feel like that was kind of next level, you know, like.
The Congo with Rwanda. They've been fighting for 31 years, 10 million people dead. I got that one done, and very proud of it. So if this works out, we'll have 8 in 8 months. That's pretty good. Nobody's ever done that.
But doesn't Obama also hate Biden? Do you think like they bonded over their hatred of Joe? I'm pretty sure Obama doesn't like Biden. I'm pretty sure he hates him.
Will you get the Nobel Prize? Absolutely not. They'll give it to some guy that didn't do a damn thing. They'll give it to a guy that wrote a book about the mind of Donald Trump and what it took to solve the wars. And he'll get the Nobel Prize will go to a writer. No, but well, let's see what happens. But
my mom brought me food.
A big insult to our country. I will tell you that. I don't want it. I want the country to get it. But it should get it because there's never been anything like it. Think of it. So if this happens, I think it will. I don't say that lightly because I know more about deals than anybody. This is what my whole life was based on. And they can change, and this can certainly change. But we have just about everybody. We have one signature that we need, and that signature will pay in hell if they don't sign. I hope they sign for their own good and we create something really great. But to have done 8 of them is just like such an honor. And then we have Putin and Zelensky, the easiest one of them all. I said, that one I'll get done. I thought that was going to be first. The others were much harder, some of them. Azerbaijan this was going on for 36 years. They said, it's not solvable, sir. Don't do it. I said, I will do it. I will do it. And I got on the phone with the 2 countries. They were great. They were great. I knew immediately. I knew as soon as I started talking to them, we're going to solve that war. And we did. Now they're so happy. Now they're friends. One said he's been president for 32 years.
You know, I just realized, guys, like when Trump gets like really, really old and like Barron has a kid and Trump is like really old, he's going to be like the best, like rambling grandpa. Like, he's just going to tell the best story. He's just going to keep fucking talking. It's going to be amazing.
22 years. He said, for 22 years, I did nothing but kill his people. They were in the room together at the Oval Office. And they started off spread like this. I have the beautiful Resolute desk. And one was here, and one was here. You couldn't get further away. That's the furthest I've ever seen 2 people in front of me. And as the hour went by, they got closer, closer, closer. And at the end of the hour, we had it done. And they hugged and hugged and hugged. And I said, that's so nice. And you're going to remain friends. And I spoke to them, one of them the other day. He said, no, he's now my friend. But for 22 years, he's been the head of Azerbaijan for 22 years. And the other guy, great guy too, 7. And you know that war, that was a war that was not solvable.
Oh my God, Dragon Slayer.
He said for 7 years. The other one said for 22 years.
Neo Repo said, did I miss the controversial part? Oh, you kind of did. He said that we had the best N bombs or something. It's amazing. It's fucking amazing. The biggest.
That's all I've done. I said, well, we're going to put a stop to that. So we solved that.
Yeah, I call it the N-word.
So it's a great feeling. You're saving Kosovo and Serbia. You're saving so many lives doing this if you can do it. But our people deserve nothing less than the very best, and we're never going to let them down. And if we can solve wars instead of you having to fight wars, wouldn't that be wonderful, right? Wouldn't that be wonderful? That's why one of the first executive orders I signed upon taking office was to restore the principle of merit. That's the most important word, other than the word tariff. I love tariffs. Most beautiful word, but I'm not allowed to say that anymore. I said tariff is my favorite word. I love the word tariff. We're becoming rich as hell.
fucking spit out my chicken. I was like half eating a piece of chicken. It's just like tariff, my favorite word. They told me not to say it anymore. Oh, dude, this is so hard to eat watching this. Oh my God.
Case in front of the Supreme Court, but I can't imagine, because this is what other nations have done to us. And we have, great legal grounds, but you still have a case. It would be very bad if something happened. But I said, my favorite word in the English dictionary is the word tariff. And people thought that was strange. And the fake news came over and they really hit me hard on it. They said, what about love? What about religion? What about God? What about wife, family? I got killed when I said tariff is my favorite word. So I changed it. It's now my 5th favorite word. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. But they hit me hard. But it is. I mean, when you look at, we've taken in trillions
Holy
of
shit, I'm going to choke.
We're rich again. And there'll never be, when we finish this out, there'll never be any wealth like what we have. Other countries
I'm
have
trying to
taken
eat my
advantage
food.
of
I'm like
us for years.
I'm like muted, so you guys don't hear me just like crunch, munch, munch, munch. I'm trying to like keep it muted, but like this guy is cracking me up. Like I can't.
And years, you know that better than anybody. And now we're treating them fairly. But the money coming in is, we've never seen anything like it. The other day they had $31 billion that they found, $31 billion. So we found $31 billion and we're not sure from where it came. A gentleman came in, a financial guy. I said, well, what does that mean? He said, we don't know where it came. I said, check the tariff shelf. No, sir, the tariffs haven't started in that sector yet. I said, yes, they have. They started 7 weeks ago. Check it. Comes back 20 minutes later. Sir, you're right. It came from tariffs. $31 billion. That's enough to buy a lot of battleships, Admiral, to use an old term. I think we should maybe start thinking about battleships, by the way. We have a Secretary of the Navy. He came to me because I look at the Iowa out in California, and I look at different ships and the old pictures. I used to watch Victory at Sea. I love Victory at Sea. Look at these admirals. It's got to be your all-time in black and white. And I look at those ships. They came with the destroyers alongside of them, and man, nothing was going to stop. They were 20 deep, and they were in a straight line, and there was nothing going to stop them. And we actually talk about, those ships. Some people would say, no, that's old technology. I don't know. I don't think it's old technology when you look at those guns. But it's something we're actually considering, the concept of battleship. Nice 6-inch side, solid steel, not aluminum that melts if it looks at a missile coming at it. Starts melting as the missile's about 2 miles away. Now, those ships, they don't make them that way anymore, but you look at it, and your secretary likes it, and I'm sort of open to it. And bullets are a lot less expensive than missiles, a lot of reasons. I should take a vote, but I'm afraid to take that vote because I may get voted out on that one. But I tell you, it's something we're seriously considering. There were powers. There were big powers. They were just about as mean and scary as you could be. And so we're looking at that. One of the biggest cases that we won was the decision of the United States Supreme Court to allow us to proceed on the word merit. So those two words are right up there. So this is, I would say, the opposite, if you ask for a definition, the opposite of political correctness. We went through political correct, where you had to have people that were totally unfit to be doing what you're doing for many reasons. I won't get into them. But for many reasons, they were unfit. Now, it's all based on merit. That was such an unbelievable decision. I didn't expect we were going to win that one. We went in. We said we need it. We went in for colleges, where kids with a C average are getting into the best colleges, and the kids with A averages won't get in, and kids with the highest boards and the highest marks and the best marks couldn't get into the best schools, and people that had not good boards and not very good marks, okay, but nothing special, they were getting into our best colleges. I said, this is just crazy. You can't run a country like this. And it was lingering for years, and it got to the Supreme Court, and we won that decision. Merit, everything's based on merit. You're all based on merit. We're not going to have somebody taking your place for political reasons because they are politically correct, and you're not. We take the people that are going to do the best job. That's all. It's very simple. And that's the way our country was built. We were built on merit. We got away from it for a long time, and everyone understands it. And it was done. It was approved. I give great credit to the Supreme Court because I thought they had tremendous courage. I didn't think they'd do that. That was tremendous. I give them maybe for that decision almost more than anything, because it's a hard decision to make. It's really hard. The apparatus of our country was not set up for merit. It was set up for political correctness, and you can never be great if you're going to do that, and we're going to be greater than we ever were before. We're bringing back a focus on fitness, ability, character, and strength, and that's because the purposes of American military is not to protect anyone's feelings, it's to protect our republic, and it's the republic that we dearly love. It's to protect our country. We will not be politically correct when it comes to defending American freedom, and we will be a fighting and winning machine. We want to fight, we want to win, and we want to fight as little as possible. You have to count on people like me to keep you out of wars, because we don't want to go into wars. Many of the wars that I just told you about, we could have entered those wars and settled them in a different way, lose a lot of our troops, and we could have settled them, I guess, differently. Maybe not, actually. Actually, you might not have been able to settle them. We just would have been in the middle of a lot of firepower. But when we do need it, you're going to be so ready, and you know it. But very importantly, with that goal in mind, I've committed to spending over $1 trillion on our military in 2026, and that's the most in the history of our country. $1 trillion, that's a lot of money. I hope you like that. Ma'ams and sirs, I hope you like it. That's a hell of a lot of money. We have the best of everything. Every branch is seeing major investments, and as I announced in the Oval Office in March, we are rapidly moving forward with the first ever 6th generation fighter jet. I didn't name it. I did not name it. Boeing came in and they said, "Sir, this is our submittal. It's the greatest fighting jet ever done." And you know, they're testing all these planes, all the companies are testing, and this one tested like through the roof. And they said, "We'd like to name it the F-47. I said, "All right, let me think about it." Then after thinking for about 2 seconds, I said, "Okay."
Damn.
You know what that means, 47. I'm 47. So I'm 45, 46, and 47, you know, if you think about it. I just don't want the credit for 46. I don't want to have their open borders and people coming in from all over the world, including jails and mental institutes. I don't want that on my record, but I like.
Dude, I'm telling you, he hates Biden. He hates him.
Investing tens of billions of dollars in modernizing our nuclear deterrence
normal levels of like joking around.
And we've begun construction on what we call the Golden Dome missile defense shield. It'll be the most sophisticated in the world. You watched it do well until they had some problems at the end with a little bit of a lack of ammunition, defensive ammunition, but they've got that taken care of. But I tell you, it's what we're doing is so good, and we deserve it. You know, we help other countries with it. We don't have it ourselves. And Canada called me a couple of weeks ago. They want to be part of it, to which I said, "Well, why don't you just join our country, become 51, become the 51st state, and you get it for free?" So I don't know if that made a big impact, but it does make a lot of sense. It actually makes, because they're having a hard time up there in Canada now, because as you know, with tariffs, everyone's coming into our country. We have more investment than we've ever had before, $17 trillion coming in. As an example, in 4 years, Biden didn't have $1 trillion. We have $17 trillion more than that in 8 months coming in. And they're coming in from Canada, Mexico,
Where's my lower
from
taxes,
Europe, from
though?
all over.
Where's my lower income tax?
AI, auto plants, everybody's coming back to the United States. Under my budget, we will be expanding the U.S. Navy by at least 19 ships next year, including submarines, destroyers, assault ships, and more. And it's going to be much more than that as we go along, because we basically don't build ships anymore. We do build submarines, but we don't build ships. Do you know, in the Second World War, they were freighters and different types, but we were doing a ship a day, and now we don't do ships. And I'm not a fan of some of the ships you do. I'm a very aesthetic person, and I don't like some of the ships you're doing aesthetically. They say, "Oh, it's stealth." I say, "That's not stealth. An ugly ship is not necessary in order to say you're stealth." By the way, the V-2 bombers were incredible. That is stealth.
Wait, are they ugly? Wait, hold on. Wait. Are they actually super ugly? Is it called, what's it called? Zumwalt class destroyer. Looks okay. I don't know. It looks kind of sci-fi. I don't know. I can see how it's not as aesthetic though. It's not as aesthetic without like the guns on it and stuff. You know, fair enough. Fair enough.
They went into that. I was with General Kane and Pete were in we call it the war room, but we're watching them go in, and they were totally untouched. They were not seen. They were literally not seen. They dropped their bombs. They hit every single one of them, hit its target. It was total obliteration. CNN, when we came back, fake news CNN, oh, their camera just went off. Look, you know, their camera, every time I mention them, they turn the camera up because it's never good. They say this is a problem, but I don't blame them. You're better off keeping it off. But they have some scammer reporter who started saying, without any knowledge, said, he may not have hit the targets as well as they thought. It may not have been obliteration. He did hit the targets, and I got to give us a little credit, right? It was obliteration, it turned out. The Atomic Energy Commission said it was obliteration. Not only did they hit the target, they had these chutes. And think of this here, way up in the sky, there was no moon, it was dead dark, you couldn't see a thing, you couldn't see them. But they had, I guess, a beam going right into these chutes. Every single one of those bombs went right down those chutes into a granite mountain. I think it's the last time they're going to build air chutes. They had these air chutes that were nice, beautiful. They were meant for us, but it was total obliteration. And now they give us credit for that. But these people were phenomenal. I tell you, for the Air Force people here, you can be very proud. That VTuber, we just ordered a lot of new ones and updated ones, but I'd take the other ones. Let me tell you, they couldn't have worked any better. So they flew for 37 hours total, back and forth, no stops, no nothing. We had 52 tankers loading them up. And that's a job I wouldn't necessarily want too much, flying a tanker, loaded up with hundreds of thousands of gallons of fuel. I don't know if I'd do that job. I asked the question, what happens if it gets hit? Sir, you don't want to know about that, right? I don't want to know about that. But those guys, they just hear us. They're incredible. I had them all to the Oval Office. We had the B-2 pilots and a lot of the people, even the people that took care of them, the maintenance people, just as important. We had them all to the White House, gave them a big party on the lawn, brought some of them into the Oval Office. But on top of all this, we'll deliver a hard-earned pay raise of 3.8% to every soldier, sailor, airman, Coast Guardsman, Space Guardman, and Marine, something you weren't getting from the past administration. They did not treat you with respect. They're Democrats. They never do. Not only are we rebuilding our great strength, but for the first time in years, my administration is actually using that strength to defend the core and vital interests of America. And very simply, we are putting America first. And I have since I've been elected. I've always put America first. It's sort of simple, you know, when you think. My campaign was run on common sense, and we did great. We've got the highest numbers ever received in terms of districts. You know, they have it broken up, 2,500 versus 525. We won every swing state. We won the popular vote. We won everything. We won everything. You have to take a look at the map. It's almost entirely red, except there's a little blue line each coast, and I think that's going to disappear too. We did really great, and part of it is because of our success with the military, the rebuilding of the military, the vote that I got from the military, and they're vicious people, you know, that we have to fight, just like you have to fight vicious people. Mine are a different kind of vicious, but they spread all these horrible, you know, they made up statements and said what I said about everything, but even about the military. But fortunately, the military didn't believe it. It's hard. You know, they make up a statement and they said, you say it. We had 25 people that said he never said that. 25. We had 25 affidavits. And they said, well, we're going with it anyway. You know, these sleazebags. And it's why the press is really losing all power, because people aren't believing it. We need an honest press. We need borders. We need borders. We need an honest press. We need fair elections. I mean, those three things. And we don't have an honest press. We have a really corrupt press. But we fight through the corrupt press. And the people understand you have to do this stuff a lot. You have to go on television a lot because you can't get a fair shake if you're going to rely on somebody else. They don't understand. They've destroyed the image of media now is at the lowest point it's ever been. It's lower than Congress. Can you believe that? It's something. But together with many of you in the room, we've brought back the fundamental principle that defending the homeland is the military's first and most important priority. That's what it is. Only in recent decades did politicians somehow come to believe that our job is to police the far reaches of Kenya and Somalia, while America is under invasion from within. We're under invasion from within. No different than a foreign enemy, but more difficult in many ways because they don't wear uniforms. At least when they're wearing a uniform, you can take them out. These people don't have uniforms. But we are under invasion from within. We're stopping it very quickly. After spending trillions of dollars defending the borders of foreign countries, with your help, we're defending the borders of our country from now on. We're not going to let this happen. Biden let people come in from prisons, mental institutions, drug dealers, murderers. You know, we had 11,488 murders.
Use the military to protect America, obviously. Obviously, protecting like the homeland is important. I've never understood this. Like, oh my God, Trump deployed the military to like protect he deployed the military on like a city. Yeah, because the city's fucked up and it's on fire. There's people throwing Molotov cocktails and rocks at people. It's like, duh. You know, like, I don't know.
Allowed into our country by this guy who had no clue. He had no clue. He shouldn't have been there in the first place, but he had no clue. The people that ran the office, the White House, were people that surrounded him, radical left lunatics that are brilliant people, but dumb as hell when it came to policy and common sense. And they allowed people from all over the world, from the Congo. They opened up prisons in the Congo. They came into our country totally unmatched, unvetted, unchecked. And from all over South America, not just South America. You know, you think South America, no, but from all over. A lot came in from Venezuela. Venezuela emptied its prison population into our country. That's why they have Tren de Aragua, one of the worst gangs ever. But we took care of them. We took good, strong care of them. And I just want to thank the National Guard in Washington, D.C. It's embarrassing to say this. Now I can say it because we solved it. But Washington, D.C. was the most unsafe, most dangerous city in the United States of America. And to a large extent, beyond. And beyond that, you go to Afghanistan, they didn't have anything like that. You go to countries that you would think there's problems, they didn't have that. And now Washington, D.C., after 12 days of serious intensity, we took out 1,700 career criminals. If you have 5 career criminals, they can make your numbers look very bad because they'll commit many crimes a day. But we took out 1,700, and they took them out. There was no doubt who the boss was. They did an unbelievable job. Then they started even cleaning. I said, I don't want them doing that, sir.
Astrid says, did Trump say the N-word? Is this true? You said we have the best N-words. What did he say exactly? He said something along those lines. They
were cleaning it up. I drove through it 2 days ago. It was beautiful. People are walking down the street holding hands, man and wife, coming from Iowa. They're not worried about being shot. Washington, D.C. is now a safe city. In fact, I went out to dinner with my crew. I haven't done that. In theory, I wouldn't do it. And I felt totally safe. And nobody's been attacked. Nobody's been hurt. Washington, D.C. went from our most unsafe city to just about our safest city in a period of a month. We had it under control in 12 days, but give us another 15, 16 days. It's perfect. And people other than politicians that look bad, they think, you know, the Democrats run most of the cities that are in bad shape. We have many cities in great shape too, by the way. I want you to know that. But it seems that the ones that are run by the radical left Democrats, what they've done to San Francisco, Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, they're very unsafe places. And we're going to straighten them out one by one. And this is going to be a major part for some of the people in this room. That's a war, too. It's a war from within. Controlling the physical territory of our border is essential to national security. We can't let these people in.
Hell
we had no people enter in the last 4 months. 0. Even I can't believe that. You know, we had millions coming in, pouring in. 25 million all told, and of those 25 million, many of them should never be in our country. They would take their worst people and their people from prisons and jail, and they'd put them in a caravan, and they'd walk up. CNN was interviewing one person. Oh, why are you coming? I want freedom. Good. Were you in jail? Yes. For what? Murder. He said, you had to see this anchor, a young woman. She's like, I couldn't believe. She'll probably lose her job, but because the left doesn't want to hear that. But we're running it based on common sense and based on love of our country. But I want to salute every service member who has helped us carry out this critical mission. It's really a very important mission. And I told Pete, we should use some of these dangerous cities as training grounds for our military, National Guard, but military, because we're going into Chicago very soon. That's a big city with an incompetent governor, stupid governor, stupid. They threw him out of his family business. He was
Totally agree with Trump. Savages should get the fuck out. Get the fuck out.
so stupid. I know the family. He becomes governor. He's got money. Not money that he made, but he ran for governor.
You commit murder. You commit murder, and you want to illegally come to America. Get the fuck out.
He criticizes us all the time. And last week they had 11 people murdered, 44 people shot. The week before that they had 5 people murdered, 28 people shot. Every weekend they lose 5, 6. If they lose 5, they're considering it a great week. They shouldn't lose any. You shouldn't lose any. This is civilization. And he's always up there saying, we're in very good shape. We don't need the military. No, they need the military desperately. How about Portland?
Is this a pro-Trump stream? It depends on what he's saying. If he says something I don't agree with, then I say I disagree with it. I agree with almost everything he's saying in this speech. The N-word thing was pretty funny, though.
Portland, Oregon, where it looks like a war zone. And I get a call from the liberal governor, sir, please don't come in. We don't need you. I said, well, unless they're playing false tapes.
Thanks, Base.
This looked like World War II.
Yeah, my mom brought me some food, so that's why I've been streaming for a long time. I didn't really eat anything, so my mom brought me some Popeyes. I've been eating it. It's kind of a long video.
Your place is burning down. I mean, you must be kidding. Sir, we have it under control. I said, you don't have it under control, Governor, but I'll check it, and I'll call you back. I called her back. I said, this place is a nightmare. It's certainly not the biggest, but it's one of the worst. It's brutal. They go after our ICE people, who are great patriots and tough job, too, but they love it. They love it because they're cleaning up our country. And so you look at some of the things where they took over parts of Seattle. They actually took over a big percentage of Seattle. Think of that. You remember that. That was a while ago. And I sent in the troops, and they were gone. As soon as I sent them in, when we send in the troops, if you have a real leader that says you got to do what you have to do, I put that out the other day. You got to do what you got to do because we don't want our people hurt as they stand by. I was watching during Biden, they had troops standing up like this, brave, standing up at attention, the way I should stand all the time. And I'm like this. And people are standing, and their mouth is this far away from their mouth, and they're spitting at him, and they're screaming at him. And that soldier standing there, he wants to knock the hell out of the person, but he's not allowed to do anything. So they just stand there, and they get abused. And a woman was this far away from his face, and she starts spitting in his face, and he's not allowed to do anything. If it's okay with you, generals and admirals, I've taken that off. I say, they spit, we hit. Is that okay? I think so. They spit, it's a new thing. They spit, we hit.
Spitting's assault. Spitting's assault's a biohazard, 100%. That's a physical assault. Yeah. Fuck them up. Fuck them up.
How about the cars, where the cars are coming out? They get brand new cars, Border Patrol, ICE, beautiful, nice new cars, and they're driving along. And
yeah, put it that way. Like if a person pulled down their pants, started pissing on you, like what? Like do you think that? Would you consider that assault? I think it's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Go through a gauntlet of rocks being thrown at the car. So here's this beautiful brand new car. By the time it goes 100 yards, it's destroyed. These guys have pretty good arms, some of them. And they're throwing bricks at full force into the window and into the car. It looks like it's a war zone. And I said, never let that happen again. From now on, if that ever happens, and I say it here, you get out of that car and you can do whatever the hell you want to do. Because those people are, you can die from that. Those bricks go through the windows. You can die. They'd like it to. They'd like it to go through the windows.
I didn't make it. I have a rigger. Her name is Sophie, and my artist is named Chris.
But this was a couple of months ago. They just kept driving, and bricks are hitting the car. And I said, why aren't they stopping?
My character, though.
Because they were under orders from the past administration, never stop. But that's different with us. We stop. And since I gave that order, we haven't had that problem. It's very interesting. It's amazing. It's just like in Venezuela. You've seen the boats going. We can't find any more boats. They're carrying drugs, massive. Every boat kills about 25,000 people. That's what they have. They had fentanyl mostly and a lot of other drugs. And we take them out, and we've taken out 4. And it's on air. Everybody gets to see it. Not that we like to do that, but every boat kills 25,000 on average. Some people say more. You see these boats, they're stacked up with bags of white powder that's mostly fentanyl and other drugs too. And now we have a problem. General Kane says, sir, there are no boats out there. Not even fishing boats. They don't want to go fishing. I don't blame them. There'll be no fishing today. But it's amazing what strength will do, because all we want to do is stop drugs from flowing into our country. It's destroying. We lost 300,000 people died last year. Everybody knows friends, many friends probably, that.
Basically, he says, how is Trump so healthy? I can barely get out of bed. He's out there at 80 talking for a time. Dude, I have no idea. I get out of freaking bed and my back hurts.
You lost a child, or adults too, but you lost a son or daughter because of what's coming into our border.
I fucked up my back though, like a couple months ago.
And we're making it.
I'm also like a freak. I sleep on my. Anyone else sleep on their face? I sleep on my face. I have to put like a pillow like underneath, like otherwise my boobs get squished. And I just like put a pillow underneath and then I sleep like on my face. Yeah, I'm a face down sleeper. That's my favorite way to sleep.
Very hard. Oh, and we haven't even started yet. Last month, I signed an executive order to provide training for a quick reaction force that can help quell civil disturbances. And this is going to be a big thing for the people in this room, because it's the enemy from within, and we have to handle it before it gets out of control. It won't get out of control. Once you get involved at all, they all joke. They say, oh, this is not good. You saw it in Washington. We had gangs of Tren de Aragua with 10, 12, 15 kids, and these military guys walk up to them, and they treat them with disrespect, and they just got pounded. They just got pounded. The gang just pounded, then thrown into paddy wagons and taken back to their country. Some are so dangerous we don't want to even do that, because we don't want to. Some of stone cold murders, we don't have the confidence to put them in jails. But these service members are following, and our history is filled with military heroes who took on all enemies, foreign and domestic. You know that phrase very well. That's what the oath says, foreign and domestic. Well, we also have domestic. George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Grover Cleveland, George Bush, and others all used the armed forces.
I have
to
a
keep domestic
Dakimakura. I have 2.
Many our leaders used the military to keep peace. Now they like to say, oh, you're not allowed to use the military. And you know what the people say? The people in those cities where they're being raped and shot and beat up, you know what they say? We love the military. You ever see where they interview the people on the street? I've never seen somebody say they don't, unless they're radical and paid off, because a lot of these insurrectionists are paid by, whether it's Soros or other people, but they're paid by the radical left. So today I want to thank every service member from general to private who has bravely helped us secure the nation's capital and make America safe for the American people. It's amazing. The whole world is watching. Everybody in the White House, they come up to me, young women, sir, thank you. I know immediately what they're thanking. They don't have to say it. They walk to work now to the White House. We haven't had a crime in Washington in so long, because we got the careers. We call them the careers. We got these lunatics out, and they'll never be any good. You know, I hate to tell this to the liberal media. You could spend time with them. You could do whatever you want. You could send them to the finest schools, which they couldn't get into anyway. Mentally, they couldn't get in. But no matter what you do, they'll never be good. They're bad. They're career criminals. I don't know. Maybe they were born that way. Some people don't like me to say that, but maybe they were. Certainly some were. Together with the leaders here today, we're also restoring a needed focus on defeating threats in the Western Hemisphere. Throughout this region, cartel terrorists have been allowed to wage a relentless campaign of death and destruction on our country, all because we had weak leadership on top. And we did a great job with it first term, but this is something else what we're doing now. We're taking it to the next level, probably next level times 3. But we had COVID come up, and we had to take care of that.
You say next level times 3. That kind of reminds me of like Jinx, like Jinx times 2. Oh yeah, Jinx times 3. Jinx times infinity.
We did a great job with COVID. We had the therapeutics, it's just Regeneron, so many things we did for COVID, but we had to focus on that, and every other country in the world was being decimated by COVID. So we had to change gear a little bit to take care of that. But under our leadership, the military is now the knife's edge in combating this sinister enemy. We have to put the traffickers and cartels on notice, and we've done that. And we put them, a lot of them, we've called them a terrorist organization, which is actually a big thing to do. Nobody's done it, but I've done it with a lot of them. It gives you a tremendous advantage. If you try to poison our people, we will blow you out of existence, because that's the only language they really understand. That's why you don't see any more boats on the ocean. You don't see any boats. Around Venezuela, there's nothing. As president, I will never hesitate to defend our people from threats of violence, from the horrible plague that's taking place from within. The Iran nuclear power, the Iran, all of the great power that we thought existed, we blew it out to kingdom. We took advantage of it, and we just really took advantage of it, and it was a beautiful thing to see, and that's what military power can achieve. That's why I chose Raising Cane. He's fantastic, by the way. I hope you all agree. If anybody disagrees, could I please have your hand? Who disappears that Raising Cane is no good? Just raise your hand. I don't see any hands raised. All right. That means you're okay. That means that he's okay now, but I saw his results. You know, he took out ISIS. I was told it was going to take 4 years. It took 4 weeks. I went to see him, and he took him out in 4 weeks, knocked him out, knocked him to hell. And I was told by military people it was going to take 4 to 5 years to do it. And I don't even know if we'll have it then, sir. These were the Washington generals. I call them the television generals. But Raising Cane did it in 4 weeks, took out 100% of the ISIS caliphate. As a result of these actions and many others since my inauguration, we're witnessing the triumphant return of peace through strength. We have great peace through strength.
Yeah, I love Raising Cane's chicken, too. And
America's
Texas
respected
toast.
again as
I like the sauce, the cane sauce. I always get extra cane sauce.
a country. We were not respected with Biden. They looked at him falling downstairs every day. Every day the guy's falling downstairs. They said, it's not our president. We can't have it. I'm very careful, you know, when I walk downstairs, like I'm on stairs, like these stairs, I walk very slowly. Nobody has to set a record. Just try not to fall, because it doesn't work out well. A few of our presidents have fallen, and it became a part of their...
Holy shit, dude, this guy hates Biden so much. This guy cannot stop shitting on him, dude. It's unreal.
Legacy. We don't want that. You walk nice and easy. You don't have to set any record. Be cool. Be cool when you walk down, but don't bop down the stairs. So one thing with Obama, I had zero respect for him as a president, but he would bop down those stairs. I've never said, da-da-da-da-da-da, bop, bop, bop. He'd go down the stairs, wouldn't hold on. I said, it's great. I don't want to do it. I guess I could do it, but eventually bad things are going to happen, and it only takes once. But he did a lousy job as president. A year ago, we were a dead country. We were dead. This country was going to hell. We were dead in every way, from immigration to military. We didn't have the weapons. We were given everything to Ukraine. We had nothing. Mm-hmm. And by the way, I have to tell you, now, as you know, I went over and I met with NATO, and NATO raised from 2 to 5, which everyone said 5% of GDP. Millions and now trillions of dollars are pouring in. They didn't pay the 2% because they know we were there to pay it. And now they paid the 5%. That's trillions of dollars. And we're not spending any money on that war, not 10 cents. We sell our equipment to NATO. NATO pays us for the equipment, and they give it to Ukraine or whoever they give it to. They can keep it, but we're not involved. We have no money going out. Biden gave $350 billion. Not sustainable. $350 billion. And we have a war that should have never started. But we're not doing that anymore. So I just want you to know we're selling equipment. Our people are buying equipment. They are buying the equipment at full price, a fair price. So I don't want to say we're making money, because I don't want to be making money on a war. It's too many people dying. They're losing 7,000 soldiers a week. A lot of them are Russian soldiers, but between the two countries, mostly soldiers, by the way. Sometimes, you know, in Kiev, they'll lob a missile in or some drones in, kill some people. But mostly it's soldiers. Russia and Ukraine are losing 7,000 souls.
Thank you, 750. Thank you.
And, you know, they're not American. They're not us. They're not you. We have a special obligation. But they're soldiers. They're young people. They leave their parents. They wave goodbye. And then 2 days later, they're blown up so unnecessarily. And so that's the primary reason I want to get it done. We got to get it done. It's crazy what's going on. That's the worst war that there's been since World War II. The number of soldiers that are being killed there is just crazy. From 5,000 to 7,000 soldiers die a week. Think of that. So I think we'll get that done. But that's turned out to be the toughest one. I'm so disappointed in President Putin. I thought he would get this thing over with. He should have had that war done in a week. And I said to him, you don't look good. You're 4 years fighting a war that should have taken a week. Are you a paper tiger? And it's a shame. But I think eventually we'll get that one done, just like in theory, I want to knock on wood, because you never know. It's like we're going to have the Middle East done, which is actually a much harder thing to do. I mean, thousands of years, but we have to get that war done. So now just think of it, we're a dead country. I was with the King of Saudi Arabia, a great guy. I was with the Emir of Qatar. I was with the great leadership of UAE. I was over there. We brought back 2 trillion.
In my country of England, we got arrested for carrying our flags. So I've heard that. Wait, all that shit is true? I heard that. I kind of assumed it was like hyperbole, but that shit's actually true. That's kind of crazy.
$1 billion.
Holy shit.
And more. They ordered 200 planes,
Mitch.
Boeings. They ordered so much, and they were great. But they all said essentially the same thing. They said, 1 year ago, you were a dead country, and now you're the hottest country anywhere in the world. We're the hottest country in the world right now. The absolute hottest country in the world.
I saw a post where there was a person, I think from France or something. There's a person from France, or it might have been France or UK. I don't remember. But they basically posted that, like, I'm trying to remember what that was. It was like basically talking about how they want to ban people from America from going to like the UK or something like that, something along those lines. Basically, yeah, like fuck them, right? Like, I actually didn't we look at that earlier. I swear we did. Basically, like, oh yeah, like ban people like from America from like going to like UK or whatever, or France or whatever it was. And they basically, someone replied with, "Can somebody translate the original post to Arabic so that this other person can understand it?" I was like, holy shit.
There's nobody even close.
That was such a fucking burn.
Putin said that to me. We met in Alaska, had a good meeting. Then he went back and started sending drones into Kiev. I thought we had a good meeting, but it's one of those things. But we were a dead country a year ago, and now we're the hottest country anywhere in the world. Think of that. You could be proud of that. And you must have felt like hell when you have a wife or a husband at home, and you used to read the numbers that we can't get people to join the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard. You must have felt like, I have a job that nobody wants. That doesn't feel good. Well, now you have a job that is brimming over with people wanting it. They want it. And you're able to get a much higher quality because now you have your choice. You want so many, and we're going to have many, many people that aren't.
Is that real? Wait, there was a post about that. Hold on. There was a someone sent me a post on that. Was it you, Julio? Were you the one that sent it to me? It might have been Julio. This was the one, right? I like the idea of Trump seeing the Demon Slayer movie at the top of the box office and being sent into a boiling rage. Donald Trump has brought back his idea of imposing a 100% tariff on any and all movies that are made outside the United States. And then I saw this. Hold on.
Spoilers ahead. Skip 2 minutes if you haven't watched the movie.
Akaza had to steal and fight just to get medicine. Do you know why? Obamacare. It's happening in Missouri right now. Very sad. You know the poison that killed his family? It was fluoride. And acetaminophen, it's true. Akaza would have been a great ice soldier, but Democrats turned him into a demon and destroyed that many beautiful, expensive rooms in the Infinity Castle Hotel. Soon to be the Trump Infinity Castle Hotel. We're going to buy in cheap and make it better than ever. Bro. I hope you watched it, honestly, dude. Did it really outsell Superman? Holy shit. They didn't even have that many showings of it, though. Demon Slayer Infinity Castle? What? 70 million? No, it didn't win. Superman made 122 million. Do they mean globally? Because yeah, globally, Superman got absolutely fucked. 217 million. Globally, though, I'm trying to look. Holy fuck, it's made so much money. 70 million. Top to bottom. That's crazy because they had barely any showings of this show, of this movie. Like this movie there were not that many showings of it. That's actually so crazy that it actually made that much. A lot of normies like Demon Slayer. Is it on Netflix? Is Demon Slayer on Netflix? Is that why? I watched it. It was pretty fucking good.
Going to be able to join because of the fact that we don't need them at this moment. But think of it, what a difference that is from, I could just imagine 2 years ago, you're reading front page articles in Times, of course, and Wall Street Journal. They always give us unfair stories. But they played it so big. They were playing it so big. Nobody wants to join the Army, the Marines, the Air Force. They don't want to join. They don't want to join the Coast Guard at all. Nobody wants to join.
You keep hearing how Demon Slayer sucks. I'm guessing it's because people empathize with demons. Do they act like it? They fucking act like the demons from Demon Slayer. Like, I'm not even joking. And that's why it kind of like, it kind of hit me a little bit harder when I watched the movie. I actually cried a little bit when I watched the movie because it was like, it hit a little harder than like normal because of like all of this stuff going on. Like, yeah, it's like, I mean, you just have to watch it. Basically, the shit that the demons say is just very, very, things that you hear basically nowadays.
Nobody wants to join our police forces. Our police forces also. It almost went hand in hand. And I used to say, boy, I'm speaking in front of the military today, and it's embarrassing because I'm speaking in front of people who have a job that other people don't want, but now you have a job that everybody wants. So I think that has to make you feel good. It's one of the reasons I love being here today, because I wanted to say that. I have to say that.
Yeah, the identification with evil. Yeah, exactly.
Everybody wants to be in the Army, the Navy, Air Force, the Marines. If you think the Coast Guard and Space Force, our beautiful Space Force, it's a whole different world. And now they're signing up, by the way, seriously big numbers for the police. Dangerous job, isn't it, huh? Fire department. But that's the paving the way for progress once thought almost impossible. I mean, a year ago, you wouldn't have thought that was possible. A year ago, they were talking about making the military smaller because they can't get the people to join. We're thinking about making it larger because we have so many people. And it's nice to be able to cut people because of merit that aren't really qualified for any reason. A physical reason, a mental reason. You don't have to take them anymore because you have the pick of the litter, and they all want to be with you. They all want your job. They want to be with you. They want to work with you. They'll even take your job, Got to be a little bit sharp. You got to watch it. But everybody wants to be doing what you're doing now. What a difference when I speak to you, and I can say that as opposed to a couple of years ago when I was talking to rooms where they were desperate to get people and they couldn't get them. What a difference a presidential election can make. That's all it is. It's just a presidential election. Yesterday at the White House, we put forward a plan.
There's a photographer flopping and faking a neck injury. Dude, I'm so tired of these fucking ghouls, dude. It's like, they keep doing this, man.
For peace in Gaza, we announced it, and we're going
Thank
to
you so much.
something
I really appreciate
that
it.
was
Thank
my
you.
idea, but unfortunately I got drafted.
Holy crap.
It's going to be called the
I really, really do appreciate it. Thank you.
Board of Peace. And it's going to reign over that territory, and we're going to get that done. And they asked if I'd be the chairman of the Board of Peace. I wasn't counting on that. I had the idea for the Board of Peace, but I said yes. And I guess because of that, every leader, everybody wants to be on the Board of Peace. And we're going to watch over that very volatile part of the world and keep it non-volatile so you don't have to get involved. We want to save you for other things or save you for nothing from that standpoint. We don't want you fighting wars, but if you have to,
What's the pin?
You're the most lethal.
I can't tell. I tried enhancing it. I can't really see.
Fighting force in the world. And I would say that even 2-3 years ago, but now I say it with great enthusiasm. It's so true. And we're striving tirelessly to end the terrible war in Ukraine.
Thank you.
And as you know, we're also working hard to get the allies to share more of the burden of our defense. Much of that has really already taken place. But all NATO members have committed to the increase that I talked about. Think of that. That was unthinkable.
Right. I was talking about the thing. Yeah. With the person's like kind of doing that with like the blood in the neck. Like, I've seen so many things. Like, I've seen t-shirts. I've seen like 3D printed figures. Like, they are very happy. They're very, very happy that he died. And it's awful.
It used to be 1%, then we got it up to 2 in my
1K views? Really? I had no idea. I don't look at views anymore.
last term.
I stopped caring about like view count. I just like don't even look anymore. The only time I look is if I have a sponsor and the sponsor is like view capped basically. Yeah, that's like the only time I do that.
And they did not like it. And now I got it to 5, and I get along great with all of them. In fact, they call me the president of NATO. I said, I don't think so. But they're great. They're great people, and they're spending a lot of money.
Thank you, Shin.
And a lot of money that they should have been spending in the past. But
I just
think
didn't know.
Putin was a wake-up call for them, really. We're now selling large quantities of American-made weapons to NATO, and we're getting really fair pricing. We're making a lot of money. It's my hope that from Europe to Asia to the Middle East, our allies will make similar commitments to increase their military capabilities, and this will greatly strengthen our alliances, and also it'll make war far less likely. You know, if you're a strong presence like we are such a strong presence now. And I go around bragging about that. I said, we have the strongest military anywhere in the world. I say it. You never heard Biden say that. You never heard him say anything. But you never heard him say, did you ever hear him say, we have the strongest military? He doesn't say that. I say it. We have the strongest military.
You want to know a funny thing, though? I don't really talk about like view counts and stuff, but I remember when I first started to look at kind of do like a little bit more like commentary, because I always did like political commentary, but it was like during a game. So like we'd be playing like some PvP game late at night, and then I'd be like talking about like how I feel about like stuff going on, right? But I remember when the first time I started talking about it more, a lot of people told me, like, even other VTubers, I had other VTubers say this too. I had a lot of VTubers say like, you're fucking done, Leaflit. Like, it's over. Like, you're fucking done, and you're never gonna grow. Like, you're just fucked, basically. Because I said stuff against, you know, like the message, right? And people told me that you got nothing. It's over for you. I remember that. A lot of people told me that I was never gonna get anywhere, and then it was over, basically. It's kind of funny.
Military anywhere in the world. We have great leadership, and I'll tell you, Pete and General Kane, and all of the people that I've met that have been lifted up in rank.
The funny thing is I definitely have more views than them now. All of the people.
And we got many of them out of here, too.
That said that.
I'll be honest with you. Didn't like doing it, but we got many of you out of here.
I don't really care, though.
We weren't satisfied. We know everything about everybody.
I mean, that's not completely true. It is kind of nice that like a GG sort of, in this GG sort of way, but yeah.
It'll also help the United States rapidly rebuild our defense industrial base. Each of you can play an important part in getting allies to do that.
There's a lot of people that didn't believe in me during just in general.
So to that end, Secretary Hegseth will soon be announcing major reforms to streamline military acquisitions and expedite foreign military sales. We have tremendous numbers of countries that want to buy our equipment, and, you know, in many cases it takes too long. We're backlogged on all the equipment, which is something that's new to us a little bit. And I told those companies, you better get your ass going, because we're selling you a lot of equipment. We're getting countries to buy your equipment. You got to produce the equipment. Some of the countries, I'm not going to mention, but some of the countries are buying a lot, and that's a good thing. They're on our side 95%. I'll never say 100% because it can always turn, right? You know about that. But they're on our side. The problem is we have to get the companies that make this equipment, and we make the best equipment in the world, but they got to make it faster. We have orders for the F-35. We have orders for everything. The new F-47. We have orders for everything. They got to make it faster, a lot faster. Ammunition they have to make faster. In the coming months, we'll be making even more historic announcements to fully embrace the identity of the Department of War. I love the name. I think it's so great. I think it stops wars. The Department of War is going to stop wars. If we are as ruthless and relentless as our enemies, the United States Armed Forces will be totally unmatched in the future. We have a group of enemies that are very ruthless and very smart, but they can't match us. They can't match us. They don't even come close to matching us. Again, you know, it's very important for me to say we are the greatest military in the world, but we make the best equipment in the world. I watched our anti-missile missiles. I watched our Patriots just knock things out like a needle, hitting another needle on the stage. There's a needle up there, and you send another needle up, and it hits it every time. During the war, we went 14 for 14. We had 14.
That is kind of crazy.
We had 14 missiles coming at us.
That's kind of crazy when you think about it. Like a lot of the technology. I mean, even like things that you kind of get to see more of, like, for instance, like the whole SpaceX thing, like the rocket, like re-landing, like shit that's like so crazy. Like the amount of computing and like just accuracy that you would need to do that.
14 were knocked out of the sky.
You're shooting a bullet with a bullet. Yeah, exactly.
We make the best equipment. From Sparta to Rome, to the British Empire, to the United States of America, history has shown that military supremacy has never been simply a matter of...
We gotta stop funding Israel. I only agree with funding Israel if it's actually in our best interest. That's like the only thing I care about.
Money or manpower.
I don't know if that's true. I don't know if it is. I don't know enough about like the Middle East and stuff, to be honest. I know I've said that a lot of times.
At the end of the day, it is.
But to pretend like they don't fuck around with us, like that's kind of bullshit. They've done that before.
The culture, spirit of our military that truly sets us apart from any other nation. Our ultimate strength will always come from the fierce people and those brilliant people with such pride and the unbending will and the traditions of excellence that have made us the most unstoppable force ever to walk the face of the earth. And that's what we are. Remember, we never want to use...
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people, like a lot of conservative, like people are really, really conflicted on Israel. Like there's a lot of people that like really like Israel and they kind of simp super hard for Israel. Some people just like regular, like some people have like a more like kind of, what's the word? Like a very practical take that like they like Israel because they think it's better than the alternative. But there are definitely people on the conservative side that like hard simp for Israel. I think it's too far. I think the amount of like hard simping is too far. But I don't have any like real like, you know, personal vendetta or anything like that. I just think that we shouldn't give them money if it's not in our benefit. I'm not like a fan of helping out other countries just cause, basically.
But we have the most powerful nuclear capability, and I call it nuclear deterrent of any other country. Nobody close. The men and women in this room inherit the legacy built and won by Washington and Jackson, Grant and Pershing, Eisenhower and Patton, Nimitz and LeMay. We carry...
Yeah, I'm not a Zionist, yeah.
Forward the majestic military heritage passed down from father to son, soldier to soldier, and one generation of warriors to the next.
I'm very America first. That's basically my stance on it. Is if they can prove, like, if they can, you know, obviously, like, without lying or whatever, if they can like crunch the numbers and tell me like, listen, it's like in our best interest, you know, like it's gonna be the best result for America if we help Israel, then I would be like, okay, sure, right.
You are warriors, you know that, right? You're great warriors, or you wouldn't be in this room.
Jewish Metalhead says Zionism is literally just a belief that Jews should live in Israel. It's literally just a belief that Jews should live in Israel. I'm trying to think about it. Like I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that, if that's what it is. Say the whole thing. I don't know what the whole thing is.
You're the best of the best. From Concord Bridge to Fort McHenry, from Gettysburg to Manila.
So I mean, like, if we can define it, I could probably give a better take on it. But I'm not really, like, again, like, I'm just gonna be real. Like, I keep saying this over and over again. I don't know enough about the area. And like, while I probably should look into it, just to, like, understand that from like a geopolitical perspective, I just don't really give a fuck. But I know it sounds fucked up, but like I care more about America. So I'm like concerned with America's problems, not like other countries' problems. Does that make sense? Like I care about like whatever's happening there as much as I care about like whatever's happening in like wherever, really. Chile, Venezuela. Even Venezuela actually affects us more. Like I don't know. It's just kind of whatever, right?
From Normandy to Sicily.
We have so many problems. Like have you seen this shit? Like people getting fucking shot all the time from like these psycho leftists and stuff. Like, we have a war right now. We have basically a war right now in our own country. There's freaking political people getting shot every fucking day now. These like riots in the streets every day. And I'm just kind of like, I just don't have like my care meter, my care bottle is like it's like too empty. You know what I mean? It's too empty. And like, obviously I don't wish bad on like other countries, obviously like, I don't want people killed in Israel. I don't want people killed in Palestine, Ukraine, Russia. I don't, obviously it's a bad thing if people are dying there. But like, I'm more concerned about people dying from fentanyl, right? Does that make sense? That's basically my take on the whole thing.
Vietnam.
But then again, I'm also not like completely like bury the hand in the sand. So like, obviously, like if there's some nefarious force, like we should worry about that too, right? That like could possibly hurt us. But yeah.
To the dusty streets of Baghdad. America's military has charged into hellfire, climbed up jagged mountains, crossed roaring oceans, and thundered across.
Redeploying says, what do we gain from Israel? So some of the arguments I've heard, and again, like, I don't know enough about this, right? But like, it could be argued, right? And this is like, again, I don't know. I'm not that knowledgeable on this, right? So that's, take what I say with a grain of salt, but the argument, a lot of it is that, like, listen, they're like a state that allows people to live there regardless of like what your religion is and all, you know, all those other things. They're not just like killing people for terrorist reasons, right? So it's kind of like the idea is that they're more Western than like the other countries in the area. So, well, they do. I mean, again, I really want to see like proof of that, like of the actual like government of Israel doing that. Like, obviously there's like individual actors that are bad, right? But I keep hearing people say that like they're genociding people in Palestine, but like, what do you mean by genocide? Like, this is what I was talking about earlier. Like, do you mean that they're literally going in and killing kids, or are the kids a convenient armor layer on top of like a terrorist stronghold? Right. I think that distinction really matters, right? Like, I don't think it's the same. Like, if they bomb a place because they have to, and like kids were being used as shields, I don't really think that's Israel's fault, personally. So if that's what you guys mean, sorry, not you guys, but if that's what people are saying when they say that Israel's committing a genocide, I don't really agree with that definition of genocide. Does that make sense? Again, I don't really know what's going on. If you can prove to me that like they're going in there and they're just like shooting kids for no reason, just because like, you know, like fuck them, they're like a different race, let's kill them, then like obviously that's bad. That's a bad thing, obviously. Like I think that's terrible.
Open deserts to defend our flag, our freedom, and our homeland. Nobody does it like you. Now we are discovering American muscle, reasserting American might, and
it'd be like if another nation started bombing U.S. cities. Well, that depends. So like, are our U.S. cities being used as launching points for missiles to be shot into the other country? If that's the case, then like put it this way. If Mexico started shooting fucking rockets at us tomorrow, we would for sure shoot them back. And we would for sure be like, well, fuck it. Like, you put your missiles like underneath civilians. Well, sucks for them. And I would agree with that, honestly. Like, I would. I'm just being real. Like, if they bombed Texas tomorrow and they bombed like San Antonio, like, I don't know, wherever missiles can hit. They bombed like San Antonio, right? And we shot them back and they're like, oh, you got a bunch of our civilians. Like, it's fucked up. I've been like, well, should have handled your shit. And like, obviously it's a bad thing. Like, I'm not happy that like it happened, but like, we definitely would do it. What if they bomb Austin? I want to make a joke, but probably not inappropriate. But yeah, like all I'm saying, guys, is that like they attacked. Listen. Allegedly, they blew up 2 of our towers, right? And we fucked them up for years. Like, I don't want to. Like, I think we would do the same. Like, I'm just being real. I think this whole like this whole like grandstanding about, oh no, they killed some civilians. It's like, yeah, it's war. Civilians die in war, especially when they're being used as shields. So I don't really count that as genocide personally. But again, like you know, you can prove me wrong. Like if there's like evidence that they're going in there, like the actual like military of like Israel's going in there, or there's some kind of like secret op that like the documents were leaked that like they had planned to go in and kill civilians, and this is actually true that they're committing like some kind of like ethnic genocide, then like obviously that's bad, right? It's just, I don't really know if that's the definition is true, because I just feel like people lie a lot. People are lying a lot about everything over there. And I don't live there, so it's just, I don't know, right? Palestine was promised to them 3,000 years ago. If Israel gets taken down, they're going to try to hit us. I don't know. I don't know about that. You know, you just know they let October 7th happen to provoke a response. I don't know. I don't know what the truth is on that. Like, again, I don't know enough about it to like kind of give a more educated opinion on it, right? Like, I care more about, like, it's like I said, I care more about, like, the stupid DEI shit in gaming. I care more about, like, my video games being fucked up and my movies and the culture being fucked up. I care more about that. Even if that sounds like my priorities are fucked, but I'm just being completely honest. Like, I literally care more about, like, stupid woke culture bullshit in games than I do about like kind of what's going on in other countries. I just feel like it's not really my business. And if it's like our business, then like I guess it is our business, right? Like if it's in our best interest, then it's in our best interest. But I'm not really interested in like helping people for no reason. But I mean, again, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but like from what I've seen, they kind of try their best. Like, I guess, like, why would I guess my question is, why would Israel shoot a bomb at a building that tells everybody, get the fuck out, this building's about to go down? Why would they do that? Why would they shoot that first and then shoot another missile behind it that actually does damage? Why would they do that if like their whole plan was genocide? Is it because they don't want to look bad in front of other people? Right? Do you see what I mean? It's called double tapping. Well, the U.S. is a country, not a charity. Yeah, I agree with that. Like the thing that's like most infuriating about like kind of American stuff right now is that we have a lot of problems at home and then we just forget about it. We just like ignore it. We ignore it and then we play world police, basically. Like we keep saying like, oh, you know, like look at these like crazy leftists, like dude, like Chaz happened and like the BLM riots happened, all of this shit happened, like nobody did anything about it. There's a riot right now, right? And they're not really. I mean, I guess they are now. They're finally doing it, finally like sending people like after these. But like there are people right now planning Antifa attacks, and it's like there's people that say like, oh yeah, they're members of Antifa. And like we have our own terrorist shit at home that we have to deal with. The actions don't violate the Geneva Convention. It's using soft targets as weapon depots and military bunkers. Yeah. I'm just being honest. I don't think we would care. I really don't. I think if another country fucked with us like to that level, I don't think we'd care. I mean, there's a lot of sus stuff. I mean, definitely. I don't know the answer. Like, were people stupid? Or did they let like the terrorists come in to like kill a bunch of people? Like the bottom line is, guys, a bunch of terrorists came in from you know, Gaza or whatever, wherever they came from. They came in from there and killed a bunch of civilians. That's the bottom line. That's what happened, and they admitted that that's what they did. I trust their word when they said that they did it. And like, what are you supposed to do? Just do nothing about it? It doesn't make any sense to me. You can't have like you can't have a group of people, whatever, another country or whatever, like territory. You can't have them like basically firing terror attacks at your citizens. You can't do that. Do you not care? Wait, what? I don't know. Bro. Oh, okay. You're arguing with someone else. I see. So you have put a price on children's lives. You kill 100 of them if it kills one terrorist. Okay. I'll explain this again because I explained it earlier. So if the terrorists made armor out of kids, and like there's a movie from an anime called Overlord where the enemy puts a fucking child on as an armor because he knows that like the other side is gonna be like, oh shit, like, you know, we gotta retreat, like we can't fight this. They're using kids as armor, right? And Einzone old Golem walks up and he goes, yeah, fireball, I cast fireball. And they're like, but there's a kid there. There's a kid. He's using the kid as armor. You can't throw a fireball. He said, I didn't fucking ask you. And he casts fireball. He blows the kid up and he blows up the bad guy. And they argue with him. They say, what, how could you do that? How could you kill the kid? How could you? This fucking awful, right? And this is what Ein says. He says, if I don't do that, then they're going to believe that it is appropriate and effective to actually put on kids' armor. So like even more kids are going to be used for armor because you're basically showing them that like that the hesitation that like it is acceptable. And I'm not saying it's a good thing, right? Don't mix up my word and say it's a good thing. We're fighting against like fucking insane shit. Like that is insanely evil. Putting like kids above a military target is fucking evil, obviously. But the problem is if you don't do anything about it, then they're going to keep doing it. It didn't work. It didn't work though. Yeah. Well, I mean, what are you going to do? What are you going to, you're just going to stop? I don't know what it is that you do about it. But you can't just like let them do that basically. Right. I don't know what the answer is. Like you get in there, you go like as hard as possible, rip the Band-Aid off, go in as hard as possible, give the populace a chance to like rise up against whatever government, against the terrorists, basically. Hope it happens. And if it doesn't, well, I mean, you can't have that. You literally cannot have that. And it's nothing against like people that live there. Like I don't want people to die. I think it's bad when people die, obviously, but you can't really negotiate with terrorists. Yeah. So someone just said, I don't trust Netanyahu. I mean, I don't really either, but like, again, I don't know enough about the area, but it's definitely like countries should do what's in the best interest of their own countries. And I expect Israel to basically use us to get what's best for their country. But I think we should do the same. Does that make sense? I think my actual take on it is it's a matter of fact to me that like other countries would care more about their citizens than other people. Obviously, that's how it should be. I just think our country doesn't do that enough. Anyway, I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Beginning the next story chapter in American military legends and lore. That's L-O-R-E. It is lore. When it comes to defending our way of life, nothing will slow us.
They literally send agents to hospitals and kill terrorists without killing kids. Well, there's a... Okay, this is the last thing I want to say about it. There's a balance there. There's obviously a balance in terms of risk to your own people, right? Because shooting missiles is way less risky. I'm just being honest. Like clearing a building is fucking hellish. It's actually fucking awful. Like urban combat and like clearing buildings is like, it's fucking shit. If you've ever played like Tarkov or anything like that, dude, holy fuck. Like you do not want to walk into a building when you know there's enemies in there. It's the fucking worst. They could be hiding anywhere. So like shooting like missiles is like it's the thing that you want to do. You don't really want to walk into a building with a bunch of enemies. If your mom was in the building, would you push the button? I don't see how that has anything to do with my argument. I would do a lot of things for my mom that I wouldn't do for other people. Like if you gave me the trolley problem and you put 200 people on one side, you put my mom on the other side, I would choose the 200 people every single time. You could put that to like 10,000. I'd still pick 10,000. Yeah, if you put 10,000 people on like one side of a trolley, and then you had a switch, and then you had like my mom on the other side, I'm picking my mom every single time.
No enemy will stop us. They cannot stop us. And no adversary will stand in our way. They won't stand in our way. We don't want them to stand in our way.
And it you know, obviously like from there, like it goes outwards, right? So I would pick people from, if I had 10,000 random people and 10,000 people from my city, I'm picking the 10,000 people from my city, from my neighborhood, my city, any sort of relations I have, friends. I'm picking that first, and then state, and then country. It's all the way up, basically.
We don't want to even put them in that position, but they're not going to stand in our way ever again. You'll never see 4 years like we had with Biden and that.
What about chat? Chat's up there. Chat. I mean, I interact with you guys every day, so yeah, it'd be pretty up there. It'd be like they're up there with like my neighborhood.
Incompetent people that ran this country that should have never been there, because we had the United States military, the best, the boldest, the bravest that the world has.
Sorry, I know I'm pausing a lot. Well, the reason I know that is because I've thought of this ahead of time. So like I carry a gun. Right, I go outside, I carry a gun. I had to have thought about this before, like ahead of time. So like if something happens, my mind is already going to go into flowchart, basically. I already like did all the philosophy and all of the philosophy, the priorities, the ranking. I already did all of that in my head. So all the calculations are already done ahead of time. So when shit happens, I don't have to hesitate. It's just boom. Like I already know exactly what I'm doing. Shower thoughts? No, I actually thought about it. I actually like just thought about it.
Ever seen that the world has ever known, with leaders like.
Yo, Ken, thank you so much, man. Thank you again. Thank you for another 5. Thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And also Zara Zizra, thanks so much for the sub as well. Thank you. And Bigglesworth as well. Thank you. Thank you so much. Resident Chef, thank you again for the bits. Thank you. Pretty normal human behavior. I carry a knife, give my mom a spiked knuckle keychain. Well, I mean, you have to think, I mean, sorry, the reason you have to know like what you're going to do ahead of time, because you don't have time to think about it, right? Like when shit happens, it happens like so fast that like if you hesitating could mean like the difference between like life and death, right? Camillus, thank you so much for 5 gifts on Kick. Thank you. When you go over the possibility of crazy, you have to prepare for yourself for crazy. That's why it's called a split-second decision, yeah. Because like some people would hesitate. Like for instance, like if you had like a little kid, like say like you had a 10-year-old kid and he pulled out a gun and he held you up, like would you be able to do anything about that? Like some people would hesitate, right? I wouldn't. That kid's getting blasted, dude. A 10-year-old kid pulling a gun on me or my mom, dude, it's over.
Like we have right here in this beautiful room today, we will thank.
I'm not happy about it, but I mean, it is what it is, right?
Wish every danger and crush every threat to our freedom in every generation to come, because
probably the only time that would be like kind of hard for me would be like, say like there was a preschool and there was an active shooter and I was there at the mall. I was at a mall. Say there's like a preschool, like, I don't know, a mall, stupid, like attached to a mall or something. There's like a preschool and there's an active shooter and they were going to the preschool. Like, would I stop them? That one's a little hard for me. Probably not. I probably wouldn't. But yeah, I probably wouldn't. I'd probably leave. Yeah, I'd probably leave in that case.
We will fight.
Preschool attached to a mall. Yeah, it's just a hypothetical. It's not like, none of it's real. It's a hypothetical.
Fight, and we will win. I want to just thank you once again, and God bless the United States military. And
could be evil and say you'll save them for a price. No, it's not that. It's that, so, and this like obviously changes depending on like who you are. But for me, like my duty would be like to my mom, my friends, my employees, not really employees, my contractor. My duty would be for them. It would be to them. And like, I understand like some people, like their duty is like more to like greater society. Like if you were like, you know, like you're like a dude and like, you know, you have that kind of sense of duty, that might be different. But like for me, my duty is like more to my family. So me surviving is worth more to me. Does that make sense? Kind of, yeah.
God bless.
Thank you, Camilla. Thank you for the gift subs. Thank you.
Bless America. God bless you all. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Like if it was just me, no, it's not even really self-preservation. So like if I were alone in this world, then I think my answer would be different. Does that make sense? Like if I was alone in this world and I had like no, like I guess a good example, let me explain it in a way like maybe dudes would understand. If you had like a wife and a child, right? Say like you were the only one working. Say like your wife is a stay-at-home mom and you were working for your family, right? And you're at a mall and there's an active shooter. Would you prioritize getting yourself and your family out, or would you like try to engage the target? Right. And like you could say that the heroic thing would be to engage the target. But then what if you lose? Like, what if you lose that fight? Now your wife and your child have no dad. Do you see what I mean? It's like maybe like you can understand it that way. That's kind of how I feel about it, basically, with my mom and like my friends and family. Well, church would be a little bit, the calculation would be different, right? Like, oh, it's like church people that you know all the time. And like, you know that you have a church, you know that like if something happens to you, that your family has a much bigger like social net, right? As in like, if you died protecting the church, you bet your ass everyone that the church would take care of your family, right? So like it changes the calculation a little bit, like just based on the circumstances, obviously, right? You can even remove the family from being, you can even remove the family from being there directly. Yes. So like the calculation wouldn't change if your family wasn't there, right? Like if your wife and your kid were at home, you engaging the combat is still potentially putting your wife and your kids at risk because the potential there's a potential of you losing the fight, right? Because you never know. Like you might be like, oh well, it's 1v1, I could take an easy shot. Well, how do you know that? You don't know if there's like other targets, right? So you're literally putting yourself at risk for other like random people, which like some people might consider that noble, but from my point of view, I see it completely differently. I see it that the person has a duty to their family first. It's personally. I know this is just me. I think that's backwards, actually, Crad. I think immediate family goes above self, because obviously, like if your wife and your child were in direct line of danger and line of fire, then yeah, obviously you have no choice. Then you have to engage the target, right? So because they're more important than you are. But then you being alive is important to those people those people and their happiness, their quality of life, their survival in life is dependent on you being alive, right? Self is required to protect them. Well, no. So like, for instance, like, would you trade yourself? Would you trade yourself to like, so like if there were a situation where you had to trade yourself or them, you would trade yourself, right? So that's how you know, like logically, that doesn't make sense. If the circumstance came up where it was either you die or they die, and you would choose you, which is why yourself is below your immediate family. This is fun. We're talking about self-defense philosophy. We're kind of crazy. We're kind of crazy here. Dan Tran, thank you so much for the bits. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you. And thank you, Psycho Pyro, as well, for the sub. Welcome. I remember the first battalion staff meeting, the first time Trump took office, everyone was motivated and looking forward to the future. I felt the energy again. I'm trying not to get kicked out just to see how it goes. I also want a Department of War ID card. That was a very Trump speech. The part about having N bombs was actually hilarious. A plus.